Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at something that seems simple, but it's really useful, talking about daily routines in English.
Mhm.
You shared a pretty engaging piece from English Easy, and, well, we're going to try and pull out the best bits for everyone listening, whatever their English level is right now.
Exactly. And it's funny because talking about your day-to-day stuff, it really builds a solid foundation for, well, all kinds of English communication.
Yeah, like how?
Well, think about it. Interviews, just chatting with people, telling a quick story. It's kind of the bedrock, for expressing yourself confidently in just everyday life.
Okay, that makes sense. So building that foundation,
Yeah.
your source material, it highlighted some really key words, core actions.
Spot on. The absolute essentials.
Things like wake up and get up, which are slightly different,
They
yeah.
are. Subtle difference, but important.
Then, brush my teeth, take a shower, maybe a bath, get dressed, have breakfast, the morning rush kind of
The
thing.
usual start.
And then moving through the day, like go to school or work, study or attend classes, come back home eventually.
The main structure of the day for a lot of people.
And we can't forget the downtime stuff. Take a nap, always
Right.
good.
Yeah.
Watch TV or YouTube these days. Maybe scroll Instagram a bit too much sometimes.
Guilty as charged for many, I suspect.
And then have dinner and finally go to bed or go to sleep. These verbs, they're really the absolute starting point, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. What's really useful about this list is how these kind of simple actions, they give you a narrative structure for your day.
Structure.
Yeah, in the specifics, the order, that changes person to person, obviously. But these verbs, they are the common building blocks. If you know these, you've got the basic tools to describe a big chunk of your life.
And it doesn't have to be complicated. The source, it gave a really clear beginner example just to show how simple it can be.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
It was like, I wake up at 7 a.m., I brush my teeth and take a shower, then I get dressed and have breakfast. Pretty standard.
Straightforward.
At 8 a.m., I go to school, I attend my classes and study, I come back home at 2 p.m.
Okay. Following the structure.
I take some rest, watch TV and do my homework. I have dinner at 9 p.m. and go to sleep by 10. See? Simple, direct, uses that core vocab, paints a clear picture.
And you can totally see how even with, like, really basic sentences, you get the information across. It works.
It really does.
That example really shows you don't need, super complex grammar to just start talking about your day.
But, okay, making it interesting for other people, that's the next step, right? Your source talked about adding personality.
Yes, this is crucial, making it relatable.
They had some funny examples, didn't they? Waking up like a sleepy zombie.
Yeah, the sleepy zombie and the torture of a cold shower.
Oh, I felt that one. We've all been there. Or becoming a potato on the sofa watching Reels.
Just vegging out.
Exactly. And dreaming of a world with no alarm clocks. It shows how putting your feelings, a bit of humor in there, makes your English way more engaging.
That's such a key point. Look, the basic verbs give you the framework, sure.
The skeleton.
The skeleton, right.
Yeah.
But adding your personality, your feelings, that's what makes it, vivid, memorable. People connect with that.
Totally. It's much more interesting than just a list of actions.
Way more engaging.
Yeah.
Hearing someone describe their routine with a bit of humor or, how they actually feel about it.
Right. And to add even more of that flavor, the source also gave some nifty little phrases. Smart phrases, they called them.
Yeah, those are good little enhancers.
Things like, I usually start my day with. Or after that, or most of the time
Showing frequency, yeah.
or maybe occasionally I try to avoiding that cold shower maybe.
Or avoiding homework.
Ha! Yeah. And things for the evening, like at night, I like to unwind by, or my guilty pleasure is, like the sofa potato thing.
And even if I'm feeling lazy, which is honest.
It is. These little additions, they really bring nuance, a bit more sophistication maybe, to how you talk about your day.
They're incredibly useful, yeah. For adding detail, showing frequency, preferences. It just sounds more natural.
Like how people actually talk.
Exactly. These kinds of expressions pop up all the time in conversation. They help paint a much fuller picture than just the basic verbs.
And, well, obviously, putting it all into practice is like the main thing, isn't it?
Absolutely essential.
Your source had some good practice questions, too. Things for listeners to actually think about.
Like what?
Well, simple stuff, but good prompts. What time do you wake up? What do you do after breakfast? How do you spend your afternoon? What do you do before going to sleep?
Right. Basic but effective prompts.
They're great starting points.
Yeah.
You know? For you listening now, just think, how would you answer those in English?
And that really hits on something important for everyone listening. Try it. Take a moment, maybe after this, and actually answer those. Even just saying it out loud to yourself. It's a huge step for building that confidence, that fluency.
So the big takeaway here, maybe, is that thinking about your daily routine in English, it's not just like a language exercise.
No, it's more than that.
It's about connecting your actual life, your experiences to this, global way of communicating.
Well said.
And just think about how being able to explain these everyday things, these actions, can genuinely open doors, connecting with people, sharing your world. It seems basic, but the benefits can be pretty far-reaching.
It's foundational, like we said, but with surprisingly broad applications. And maybe a final thought to leave people with.
Yeah.
Think about this. Even the really simple, mundane details of your day, they can offer someone else a really unique window into your life, your culture, perhaps.
Huh, never thought of it like that.
Yeah, I mean, what part of your day seems totally ordinary to you, but might be actually fascinating or insightful for someone from a completely different background, something to mull over.